Everyone, and welcome to another 3 questions in 3 minutes with our sports betting power players. I am very pleased to be joined by Joe Asher, former CEO of William Hill, current president of sports betting for IGT, and sports betting Hall of Fame honoree. Joe, that is quite an introduction. I'm a little out of breath.
It's a lot of words. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here with us. So I want to ask you, what was your role and the role of IGT in establishing the sports betting market in New York State? Were you involved in advocating for the legalization or in advising operators once they had their licenses? All of the above?
Still at William Hill, I remember taking a red eye to Albany and testifying in front of the legislature. It was Assemblyman Pretlow and Senator Abbott had a hearing a few years ago, so that's clearly the one thing in particular that struck out. And obviously, there's a whole process from there to get legislation done and to get the mobile sports betting up and going.
Definitely, yeah, and you were instrumental in that as well. So, with mobile sports betting kind of getting underway here in New York, I personally have gotten a lot of ads, and you've cautioned before about over advertising, and so I wonder what your perspective is on that and why you have cautioned against over advertising.
It's obviously an issue of problem gambling and the normalization of sports betting. It runs the risk of attracting people who then don't have the ability to control it, right? The overwhelming majority of people bet responsibly, and it's all about betting responsibly. It's similar in some respects to alcohol, I suppose, but for a very small segment of the population, sports betting can become a problem. And so the advertising just puts it in people's minds more often, puts it front and center in the living room. And the embrace of it by the media companies and the sports leagues is great for the industry, and I'm obviously supportive of it. But we just have to be aware of the risks that come to a small subset of the population, and they're very real, and we can't ignore them or try to minimize them.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of a little bit of a heavy question. So to lighten things up a little bit, I want to end by asking you, you've had this amazing, incredible career in betting and wagering, and I want to know, what is it about gaming that speaks to you the most?
I grew up around gambling. My dad was a gambler, and he had a gambling problem. So I've seen the worst sides of it, from a very early age. But I grew up around it and always sort of felt comfortable in that environment. It's obviously an exciting industry. I was probably born a generation too soon, given the legalization and the growth of it. I mean, I never imagined I'd see, the Mannings and Halle Berry and JB Smoove and all these well-known people in sports betting commercials, right? Just it's been an amazing run over the last several years, but it's a business that I've always enjoyed, probably because I was around it at a very early age.
Certainly, yeah. Well, thank you so much. I mean, clearly you have a lot of experience in it, and you brought that to New York, testifying, and we really appreciate you being one of our sports betting power players. So thank you.